You're tired, you're over it, you're counting down the days. The office politics, pointless meeting, the small talk, you're done. You're ready to walk away, but can you actually afford to? Today, I'm breaking down a real life example of a 60-year-old couple with $2 million who want to retire tomorrow. We'll look at different scenarios, plus the biggest dangers to watch out for. Losing a spouse, inflation, market crashes, and the unexpected. It's your favourite Scotsman here again, and let's get stuck in. Meet Randy and Lynn Peters. Their names have been changed for confidentiality, but this is a very real scenario we see all the time in our office. Between them, Randy and Lynn have about 1.2 million in RRSPs, 300,000 in TFSAs, and $500,000 in a non-registered account. They have a bit of cash in an emergency fund, which will not include in the calculations, and they also own their own home in Toronto. Their intention is to live in their home for as long as possible. So we're not going to factor in the home value into the initial calculations, and instead leave it as a backup if needed. After sitting down to do a discovery session to understand their goals and what's important to them, we find out that Randy and Lynn recently lost a couple of very close friends. This has really impacted their thinking. They want to enjoy life while they can, as who knows what tomorrow has in store. So, we have illustrated them retiring now, both at age 60, needing 125 grand a year to live on. They've already been through an exercise to figure out how much they need for a comfortable retirement. On top of their savings, they've no other pensions or income sources. We will assume they're both eligible for maximum CPP and OAS, which they will elect to take at age 65. Our calculations are based on a few assumptions. A 5% investment return rate, which reflects a balanced investment strategy, an inflation rate of 2%, and a life expectancy of 95. Now, under these assumptions, Randy and Lynn could expect to receive an after-tax, inflation-indexed annual income of a little over 110,000 a year. Not a bad sum by any stretch, and it will go up each year as the cost of living increases. As we've just talked about, they aimed for an annual income of 125,000, which leaves us 15 grand short annually. Quick break here. If you're trying to figure out how much you need for retirement, you could start by downloading our free retirement guide, described by some as the best they've seen on the internet. Click on the link in the pinned comments to get your copy today. Okay, back to it. Understanding how retirement spending evolves is a must. If you've listened to this daft Scotsman before, you will be aware that expenses in retirement do not follow a straight line. So, back to the drawing board. And let's apply this approach to Randy and Lynn's situation, considering the typical phases of retirement spending, the go-go, slow-go, and no-go years. We talk about what that looks like and agree that the 125,000 number will likely tail off as time goes on. So we decide to go with this up to age 75, otherwise known as the go-go years, where they'll be more active and travelling. During the slow-go years, big trips tail off and spending reduces slightly to 110,000 yearly. Finally, in the no-go years, where they aren't doing much of anything, their budget adjusts to 90,000. The impact? They run out of money at age 90. Back to the drawing board again. They would like a little more security than running out of money at age 90. So we talk about different options, and Randy mentions he could do some consulting work for a few years if needed. He says he could likely bring in somewhere between 40 to 50,000 a year. So we run the numbers again. If Randy works 3 years and earns 45,000 a year, the retirement plan is fully funded all the way to 95. Another simple, though not always popular option, is delaying retirement. If Randy and Lynn were to work just 6 more months, they would meet their spending objectives. Think about that for a second. 6 months adds 5 years to their retirement plan. Basically no time at all. By the time 6 months pass, the Leafs will have been knocked out the playoffs and be gearing up to break your heart all over again next season. Now, all jokes aside, while delaying retirement can help, there's one risk that no amount of extra working years can fully solve. For most spouses, this is the biggest financial risk of all, one of them passing away. Let's assume Randy sadly passes at age 80. His investment accounts roll over to Lynn, but her CPP and OAS are gone. The result is that the after-tax income for Lynn is about 60,000 a year from age 80 to 95. She estimates expenses would drop, but not that much. Her options include reducing expenses, which is often easier said than done, or tapping into the home equity, either by selling or using a reverse mortgage. And that's just one risk. What if the market takes a 20% hit right after they retire? That could mean working 2 to 3 more years to recover or making some tough spending cuts. And another risk. What if inflation runs at 3% per year instead of the assumed 2%? The outcome is pretty similar to the 20% market drop. I don't highlight these things to strike fear into you. I mean, let's be honest, if you're retiring with $2 million, one way or another, you're going to be alright. It is important though, to retire with as many options as possible. Be flexible. Life happens. Having the ability to adapt will make your retirement successful. Now, make sure you download your free retirement guide if you haven't already done so. And if there's one thing I hate seeing, it's people with regrets. Do you want to know the top 10 regrets I see in people over 60? Watch this next video I have lined up for you.